Welcome to a craft along. Very excited for this one. Just an hour for this one, just me all my own. So I hope you guys at home are going to keep me company throughout this full entire craft along. And it's all about the animal stamps and dies. And these are the most adorable little characters. How cute are these? We're going to go with the gorgeous little deers and squirrels for this particular project. But if you're going for that full collection, it's completely up to you which little characters you're going to be popping onto your box. Quite a cute, simple little project for this one. With it only being an hour, I wanted to try and keep it simple enough to make sure that we could actually get it into that hour time frame. So hopefully, we'll see how we go. Hopefully we should get that finished throughout the course of this craft along. So if you guys at home are crafting along, I'd love to know. Maybe you're going to be crafting along at a later date. No worries at all. We'd love to see those pictures after you've created your finished project. But even if you're just watching along and not crafting along, please do get those comments in. I've got the fabulous Dean, and we've also got James in the gallery. They'll be feeding through the comments through my ear hole. So any questions, do let us know and they will feed them through to me, and I'll do my very best to answer them. But if you're going to be doing this craft along, you're obviously going to need to know exactly what you need to create this finished project. And we have got the shopping list all ready and good to go, so you can make sure you've got all your items that you need in. So first up, from our fabulous animal stamps and dies, we've got the Nuts About You set. Then from our tri-blend brush pens, we have got our brown grey blend, blimey, get me teeth in, brown grey blend and extend. Set myself up to fail with that one, didn't I? Then we've also got our gold brown blend and extend, our pale pink blend and our tan blend and extend. Then we've also got our rustic brown alcohol proof ink pad, our spring fever 8x8 inch paper pad, All Hallows Eve A4 linen card pack, your multi-purpose card and your Nina card stock as well. And then when it comes to our tools, we will also be needing, we bring up our second list, we should have a second list with some of our tools. We have got our Gemini 2 die cutting machine as always, our scoreboard, our 8x8 inch magnetic stamping platform, scissors, pokey tool, red liner tape, Collal all-purpose and tacky glues, your foam tape or pads, a hot glue gun and some twine as well. That's everything you're going to need to get started with this craft along. And I think without further ado, we shall get started straight away with this craft along. Like I say, just an hour for this show. Of course, Ben and Sarah have got a very exciting 3-hour cartload coming up starting at 5 p.m. UK time. Don't forget there's that VIP hour happening at the top of that show. So we're keeping it nice and fun, nice and relaxed for this craft along. So let's get started straight away. So we're starting off with some of our multi-purpose cardstock. This is going to form the basis of our box. We're going to start off by actually popping our box together. So we're going to cut this down to size to start with. I'm going to start off with our box base. So our box base, I will need to just take out my handle. This guillotine looks really quite new. It's got a very shiny look. I don't know if somebody's just cleaned it, but it does look very, very new. But yeah, I've been treated to a lovely new guillotine for this show. So we're starting off with our A4 card, and we want to cut it down to 8¼ inches square. And the beauty of your A4 cardstock is that the width is 8¼ as it is. So that means that all we have to do is make that one cut there. Super nice and easy with that one. And then next up, we're going to cut our cardstock for our lid. And for our lid, again, some multi-purpose cardstock. This time it's going to be 3 3�8 of an inch square. So if we have a look at our scoreboard, and not our scoreboard, even our guillotine, we can see it's broken down into our increments there. We can see we've got 3 there, 3½ there. Halfway between there is our quarter. So just 2 little notches over your 3 is that first 8ths, but we want 3/8, so we need to go 2, 4, 6, so just our little line there, so that large line under your 4½, so 3 3/8 of an inch. So let's find that, square it up, cut down, and then do exactly the same, so we've got a square piece at 3 3/8. Oh, Crafty Vera is asking whether I'm on a solo mission. I certainly am, Vera. I'm excited. I do love a craft alone. Craft along. It is a craft alone, isn't it? A craft along, craft alone on my own. But yeah, it's lovely to have your company. I'm here all on my own, just for this hour. It's going to be a little bit of a crazy show, I think, tonight at 5 o'clock till 8 o'clock. So a nice calm one for us just for this hour. So now we're going to bring in our scoreboard, and I'm using my Score Master for this. Any scoreboard will do. I mean, we bring lots to you here at Crafters TV. If you want your bigger one, that's your big score, but your Score Master will work absolutely perfectly for this project. And all we're going to do, we'll start off with our lid piece. So we've got 2 pieces for our construction. First one is our base, this is our lid. So the little one, we're going to score at 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. So nice and easy for this. So I'd always say when it comes to your scoring, any sort of scoring, don't matter what material you're scoring, I always say don't go in like a bull in a china shop, as my mum would say. It's definitely a mummyism, that one, going in like a bull in a china shop. What I mean is don't go in really heavy-handed to start with and trying to get a really sharp score line. Build up that score line, go in gently and then score multiple times over that same area. That's going to allow you to get the most neatest, sharpest crease onto your scoring. So then all we're going to do now is let's just reinforce those score lines, start to burnish them. You can, of course, at this point start to bring in that opposite end of your scoring tool just to really burnish out those score lines. But once I've burnished them, I'm just opening them back out because we will be popping our mats and layers onto here before we actually stick it together. Now at this point, let's bring in our scissors. Nice pair of 6-inch scissors for this. And where we've got the score lines, where they cross in each of the 4 corners, what we're going to do is we're just going to snip up along that score line to where they meet. And then we're just going to take a triangle out of that area. Up to you how wide you want that to be. I tend to go probably a couple of mils away from that first cut line. And that's just going to remove that small triangle. Now, if I show you on the next one, I'm going to do exactly the same. But if I were to just cut along there, when I come to fold up my box, can you see that bottom edge there could potentially catch on that box lid when we fold it together? Just by removing that small triangle, all it means is it's going to remove a little bit of bulk, and there's no chance that it can be snagging or catching when we fold it together. So you can see there, when we start to fold this together, there's no chance that that edge can catch on the bottom there. Wow, good camera angle, guys. Top job there, loving that. But you can see it straight there that it's not going to catch on the bottom. And all we have to do is do exactly the same on all 4 sides. So trimming up along that score line to that intersection, then just going along the diagonal and then just removing that triangle. Really easy to do, but it makes a massive difference and just gives your boxes that neater finish. So that's our box lid all done and good to go. Let's bring back in our other piece, which is going to be our box base. Don't forget this is 8 1/4 inch square, and all we're going to do on this one is going to score at 3 inches on all 4 sides. So find that 3 inch. And I have to say, I always work in inches when I'm crafting. I find it so much easier. But the beauty of this scoreboard, our Score Master that we're using here, if you do prefer to work in your centimetres, then just flip it over and you can work in your centimetres. But I do find it an awful lot easier to work in inches. So let's just go around. Again, same method we used with that first piece of not going in too heavy-handed, not going in like a bull in a china shop. If my mum's watching, she'll be chuckling away at that expression. But not going in like a bull in a china shop, just allowing that score to be built up gradually by scoring over that area multiple times. So 3 inches on all 4 sides. That's all of our scoring done. So super easy on this one when it comes to your construction, which is fabulous. And then same method, let's just go and reinforce those score lines. And of course, by using our 300 GSM multi-purpose card, it's ideal for construction. It's going to be nice and strong. Oh, some lovely comments coming in. One from our Cindy Condi, she's saying, I'm not alone. Apparently all you guys at home are along with me, which is fabulous. Thank you so much. Oh, oh, Crafty Vera. Oh, I'm loving this. Craft Alone, which is going to be the new name for this show. Forget Craft Along, it's Craft Alone with all of your best crafty chums. Well, honestly, I cannot think of anything better. Absolutely love crafting along with you guys. Love your company. We've been talking about it an awful lot this week here on Crafters TV, with it being our Crafters TV fourth anniversary. I mean, can you believe 4 years? Good grief. But the community we have built is absolutely brilliant. Loving all the interaction. It's so important, I think, to have that interaction on the shows. There's no other shopping channel, no other channel really in craft that brings you that level of interaction, which I think is incredible. So what we've done here is we've started off that same process where we cut along the score line to that intersection, but something a little bit different with this one. Rather than just removing a triangle, so let's go ahead and remove that triangle to start with. So just going in and cutting at a diagonal, just like so. let's be honest, these are going to be our gluing tabs. They are rather quite massive. They don't even fit behind that next panel. So we need to trim down a little bit more. And the way I find easiest to do this is to actually do it around our red liner tape. So what we'll do first is we'll go ahead and we will cut out all of our triangles to start with. So let's just go ahead and let's find our next tab. Our next tab is there. Cut down into your triangle first. And then let's just go down and do the next one. And then finally, let's remove that last triangle. So we've got all our triangles removed just like we did for our box lid. But then what we're going to do is we're going to turn it over, because when we glue it, we'll be having our glue onto our tabs here. So right up against that score line, and I've got some of my 12mm red liner tape here. I find this one is ideal for all of your box sort of tabs like we've got here. We're just going to place our red liner tape just so it's running parallel to that score line all the way along all of those 4 tabs. Let's go ahead and then just pop that onto there. Of course, red liner tape, we've shown you the details at the bottom of your screen there. You're getting a bundle, 2 of the 12mm, which is what I'm using right now. You're also getting 2 of the 6 and 2 of the 3mm in that bundle as well for a fabulous price of just £13 or $28, and that's before you even take off that 20% platinum discount. So what we're going to do now is going to use our red liner tape as almost like a guide, and we're just going to trim along parallel to the edge of that red liner tape. So we're going to take off all of that as our tab because we don't need that. And when we fold this together, you can see we've got enough of that tab there. It's going to fold behind, but it's not too bulky at all when we look at the inside of our box. And I just find it's a little bit easier to pop your red liner tape on first, and then you can see exactly how much of that tab you actually need in terms of making sure you've got enough space for that red liner tape. And it's just going to remove that bulk and just make the inside of your box look a little bit neater. So that's all 4 tabs all cut down, good to go. You can see how this is going to start to come together quite nicely, but I think it's time we brought in a little bit of decoration in terms of those mats and layers. So let's bring back in our guillotine, and then let's bring in some of our cardstock and some of our papers. So first up, let's start with our mats and layers for our box lid. So for our box lid, what we need to do, and we're starting off with some of our cardstock that comes from that All Hallows Eve collection. We need to start off with our linen card, and for our lid, we need it to be 2 1/8 inch square. So let's find our 2, there is our 2, and we just need to go the 2 little lines over your 2 inch, just like so. So find that, trim down, and then with it being square, let's just do exactly the same on the other side, 2 2/8 of an inch, and let's just bring in our box lid just to check, and that's working for me, absolutely perfect. And then let's switch out to some of our pattern paper, and this is going to go down to 1 7/8. So let's find 2, and we're going to go 2 little lines under the 2, and that's 1 7/8 of an inch. So trim that first one, and then let's go ahead, flip that around and do exactly the same on the other side, 1 7/8, and then let's just bring in that first mat and layer and check that that's looking all good. Yeah, that looks bang on to me. Those will be our lid mats. Then let's go ahead and cut down our mats for our box sides. So first up, we're going to go in with our brown card. Let's see if we've got enough here. We need it to be 2 inches by 2 1/4. That's all right. Yeah, I've got enough here, perfect. So 2 1/4 inches. Let's go ahead and cut down by 2 inches. And we're going to do 4 of these at 2 1/4 by 2. Now you'll have noticed the pattern paper that I'm using is from that Spring Fever paper pad. Now I know we've not got any more of that in stock, and if any of you tuned into a few shows earlier this week, I think I mentioned it on both Monday and Tuesday, but I was trying to have, I was going to say I was having a bit of a clear out. I think you guys at home know me well enough to know I wasn't having a clear out. I was trying to organise things a little bit more because I'm trying to get all my items in my Totally Tiffany bags as much as I can. And I was going through a few of my older paper pads, a few of my 8 by 8 inch paper pads, and I found not one of these paper pads, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6. 6 of these Spring Fever 8 by 8 inch paper pads. I mean, I quite clearly absolutely loved them when we brought them out a few years back, and clearly thought I'd stock up, but then I obviously put them in quite a safe place, completely forgot about them. I mean, I knew I'd got a few. I thought I'd got maybe 1 or 2, but I didn't think I would find 6. So when I found 6, I was a bit like, right, I think it's time to get crafting with these paper pads. So you'll be seeing them featured in quite a few of my my makes, I think, over the coming days and months, that's for sure. So 2 by 2 1/4 for all of these. So we need 4 of these. Loving this. So 2 by 2 1/4. So that's our 4 2 by 2 1/4. And then we're going to switch back to our pattern paper. So we're going to bring in our lovely pattern paper, and we are going to go for 1 3/4 by 2. And we'll need another 4 of these. So let's go for 2 inches. There we go. By 1 3/4. There we go. So just lining that up, and just use your grid system on your fabulous guillotine to help you line everything up. It's nice and easy when you've got our fantastic Crafter's Companion guillotine. Super sharp as well. It's going to cut through all those heavier weight cardstocks. An absolute dream. It's like a hot knife through butter, but it's fabulous quality. We're using the large one here, but of course we do the small as well. I always say it's horses for courses. You need both. You know what I'm like. I'm always like, you need both. But they've both got different uses for your larger and your smaller projects. Maybe you're going to be crafting on the go. The small one is ideal. Oh, you guys, this coming from, who was it, Sharon? Oh, Sharon, lovely comment. She says she's just learned something new in terms of that box making technique I've just shown you, and she loves learning something new every day. Well, I always say that's one of the many, let's be honest, things that I absolutely love about crafting. It doesn't matter how long you've been crafting, how experienced you are, how much time you spend crafting, there is always something new to learn. And for me, that's something that's always super exciting for me, which I love about crafting. Oh, our lovely Laurie Barnett's joining us as well. Our lovely Laurie from the design team. Lovely to have you. She finished a gym class. Fabulous. I hope you enjoyed that and had a lovely time. And she's joining us now, which is absolutely brilliant. Lovely to have your company, Laurie. And I hope you're well. Right, let's do a little bit of matting and layering. Let's start to stick some of these mats and layers together. So we've got our small mat and layer is our lovely pattern paper from the one of 6 pads of the Spring Fever. Honestly, I could not believe 6 of the same paper pad. I was like, right, Lily, I think it's time that you started using these paper pads. But yeah, it was a lovely paper pad. It was one of those where I got a little bit anxious and I thought, I don't want to run out of this. I better order plenty, and that I certainly did. But I was having a little look through my paper pads the other night, my 12 by 12s, my 8 by 8s, all the rest of them, and I've got quite a few that I've forgotten about, shall we say, which is a little bit of a shame. But I'm going to try and make an effort and use up some of the paper pads that I've not used in a while. I think it's quite nice. When you go through your crafty stash, you find all sorts. You think, blimey, I can barely even remember buying that, but it's there, which is always quite exciting. And then it's a sort of choice of what you're going to use first, what's your next project going to be. But yeah, we do love finding old goodies in our crafty stash. So here I'm using my Collal all-purpose glue. It's ideal for your matting and layering. It's a super strong glue, but it does give you that little bit of wiggle room, that little bit of time to manoeuvre these into position to make sure you get your mats and layers nice and straight and even. I just find it is the best glue for matting and layering for me. Your tape pens are brilliant, but if you are not so confident when it comes to lining things up, then it's great to go in with your all-purpose just to give you that little bit of time to wiggle around. There we go. So that's our 4 sides there. And then we've also got our box lid. So let's start sticking these onto our construction pieces. So first up, our square piece is going to go onto our box lid. So let's just pop that into the centre. And as always, I'm working with our 1/4 of an inch increments. So every single mat and layer, I'm going down a 1/4 of an inch. I just find that gives you the best effect. It gives you a nice, elegant finish to your mats and layers. Not too much of that cardstock showing, but just enough so you've got that contrast, you've got that mat and layer, which I love. Oh, Carol loves the sound of the guillotine. Carol, absolutely, I agree. It's such a satisfying noise, isn't it? I have to say, it was a very satisfying one last night. I nearly recorded it, actually. I was doing a little bit of die cutting with some felt, using some of my multi-craft dies, and the crack and the crunch as it goes through the Gemini is the most beautiful sound. I mean, non-crafters don't understand it because they think it sounds like the machine's breaking, but it's such a satisfying sound. Oh, that Gemini 2 die cuts felt like an absolute dream. It's just gorgeous. But yeah, I was having fun playing with some of the dice, those festive treat dice that Becky brought to us a few weeks ago, but I was enjoying that an awful lot. Here we go. Let's actually pop that down onto there. Okie doke, and then that's our final one going onto our box size. Now, I have had a request for the measurements. Don't worry, guys, I've got my very neat little scrap of measurements. Don't worry, I won't be taking a picture of that and posting it. I will, though, when I post the photo of the project later tonight, I will make sure that I include the measurements as well. And then when it comes to the mats and layers, just make sure you go down 1/4 inch and it's nice and easy. So that's all of our mats and layers done. So we've got our box lid all good to go. We've got our box sides, and this is a perfect opportunity to actually pop those to one side so they can dry while we work on our next section. So our next section is, of course, all about those fabulous animal stamps and dies. That's going to be where they come into play. So for this one, we're working with the Nuts About You stamp and die set. So cute, but I'm not being funny. All of the designs in the collection are super cute. Don't forget, you're getting 5 different sets, which is 52 stamps and a whopping 20 dies in total for that Platinum Club price of £27.20 or $35.20. You get all of the designs included. So this time we're bringing in our Nina cardstock, because this is what we're going to be colouring onto. And we're going to be cutting a couple of these to the same size. So they're going to be 2 inches by 5 1/4. So let's go in. So 2 inches, just like so, by 5 1/4. Let's find 5 1/4. There we go, 5 1/4, just like so. And we're going to do another one that we're going to cut down to 2 inches by 5 1/4, and this is what we're going to be doing our stamping and our colouring onto, which is why we've used our Nina, because we're going to be bringing some of those tri-blend brush pens, phew, I managed to say it this time round, into play in just a moment. So 2 of those cut down to 2 inches by 5 1/4, nice and easy. And then what we're going to do, bring back in that scoreboard just to add a couple of score lines onto this piece. So working with our score master again, let's take one of them and then let's start by scoring at 2 3/8 inch. So let's have another look at our scoreboard. So each little line on here is 1/8 inch. So we need to find 2 3/8. So let's find 2 and then just count 3 on. So 1, 2, 3. So it's the one just under 2, 2 1/2. So that's that one, score down. And then we need to go into 4 3/4 inch, nice and easy. And then we're going to do exactly the same on our next one. So let's go ahead and score at 2 3/8 inch. And then we'll go in and score at 4 3/4. And that's going to be where we pop our decoration and our stamping onto. Let's move that out of the way. Don't think we're going to be needing that again for this project. So I find it's easier personally for most techniques with these stamps and dies to actually die cut first and then stamp. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So we've got our 2 pieces. Let's bring in our dies. So we've got our 4 different die designs. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then we're going to grab some of our low tack tape and we're going to tape these into position. And then once we've die cut, we're going to stamp afterwards. So first of all, we are going to pop our, and it doesn't matter at all what order you're actually going to be doing these in. You know, there's no sort of set order, but I think I'm going to go for 1 deer, 1 squirrel, and then 1 deer, 1 squirrel. So we've got like that alternate sort of effect. So let's pop him onto that. And then let's go ahead with our cute little squirrel, and he will go next to him. So we have got, if you're wanting to go for your individuals, of course, you've got the option to. We do have the main collection on the main details of your screen if you want to go for all of those gorgeous little characters. And let's be honest, you want them all, don't you, really? But I know it's been quite a busy week, let's be honest. My purse has taken a little bit of a hammering. I did say on Monday I ordered 14 of the Totally Tiffany Big 12 by 12 bags. So if you are thinking, I'm feeling the pinch a little bit by this time in the week, but you know what, I still want to treat myself, I still want to be able to recreate this craft along, then do just check out those individuals, because at just $6.99, that's before you even take off that Platinum Club discount, you can get home this fabulous Nuts About You stamp and die set, and you're still getting a whopping 13 stamps and 4 dies included. And by going for that collection, you will still be able to recreate this craft along. So we've got options for everybody over on the website. So what we're doing is we've got almost like 3 sections to each of these 2 pieces. You've got your little section on the right, which is going to be our little glue tab, and then you've got your 2 larger sections where we're placing our die. I'm trying to space them so it's about the same distance from the bottom from all of them, but it's no sort of set distance, it's completely up to you. If we bring in the finished one, you can see I actually pop mine a little bit closer to the bottom so it sort of overlaps with the base. I don't mind that, but if you want to keep that full image as part of that panel, then make sure that you actually pop that a little bit higher up, but completely up to you. Let's just die cut that. Oh, we have got, oh, Eve B is joining us. Eve B, blimey, you sound like you're speaking my language. She's trying to use up some of her stash so she can justify her purchases. Do you know what, that's exactly what I was doing. But yeah, we can always justify them because they bring us a lot of pleasure. We love our crafting, so do you know what? We should be able to treat ourselves to our crafty goodies. At the end of the day, it's our hobby. You know, maybe your husband plays golf and spends all his money on his golf clubs and going golfing and all the rest of it. Crafting is our hobby, so do you know what? We should be enjoying it. We should be allowed to treat ourselves to all the crafty goodies, but do as me and Eve B are trying to do, and try and break into your stash, try and use up some of your older goodies, because there is a lot of fun in actually going through your stash and finding all of your old stuff that maybe you'd forgotten about. So I'm not worrying about ripping that top section there because we're going to be cutting that away in just a moment, but just trying to make sure that I'm easing back the tape when it comes to the tape that's actually over our design that we're going to stamp onto. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually just remove all 4. Now I've had Kathy asking, when did the animals launch? Well, this is technically a relaunch. We launched them originally last April, I think it was. I've got a bit of a funny memory for certain things like that, but I'm convinced it was last April. But the relaunch of these was about a month ago. I believe it was our Debbie Robinson that relaunched them just about a month ago, but you will find that complete collection over on the website. Now let's pop our dies back on the packet. You know, saw how easy it was to die cut all 4 of those. I know it looks like a bit of a scratchy mess at the top at the moment, but don't worry, we'll be cutting that away in just a moment. I find it easier though to do the stamping first before I cut away that section, just because I've got a little bit more space to actually pop my magnets onto if I need to. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of stamping now. So of course, using our magnetic stamping platform makes stamping so super quick, easy and simple and foolproof as well. If you're worried about mis-stamping, missing an area, or perhaps you didn't apply enough ink first time round, you've got that safety net, you've got that security that you can go back in and actually re-ink and re-stamp, and that stamp's not going to move, so you'll be all good to go. So let's start off by lining these up. How easy is it just to line up your stamp over your die cut image? Let's just pop that onto there. So line the 2 up, and then what we'll do is we'll just pop our lid over the top, press down to pick up our stamp onto the lid of our stamping platform. I nearly call that glass mat then. I know it's clear, but it's certainly not a glass mat, so that's a little bit worrying, isn't it? Definitely a stamping platform. Let's just ink up. Here we're using one of our alcohol-proof ink pads because we are going to be colouring with our tri-blend brush pens, and we are using that gorgeous rustic brown. I just thought it worked perfectly with these gorgeous little characters, with them being in that sort of woodland rustic theme and having the brown for our mats and layers as well. So we've mis-stamped a little bit, or mis-inked even perhaps a little bit at the bottom, but the beauty is we've got our magnets, we've got our cardstock in position. Let's just go back in and re-stamp over the bottom, and then you can see there we have got that perfect design all good to go. Leave that to one side for just a moment, and at this point we're going to bring in our second one that we've got. So this is for our 2 other little characters. So on our box we're going to feature all 4 of the characters within the set, and I love that across that whole collection. It doesn't matter what set you're going for, if you're going for individuals or that complete range. We have got 4 different characters in all of the different packs that we've got. Oh, Sandra Dundas is telling us about some of her fab crafty purchases, which she is loving, treating herself to some totally Tiffany goodies. A little bit like me, Sandra, not quite 12 bags, but you know, I say 12, no, it wasn't 12, I'm lying. It was 40. Yeah, 14, good grief, yeah. When they arrive, I'm going to have fun, because they'll be coming to the office, so I'll have fun carrying them. I want to have 14 bags walking 2 miles up the road. People will think of me, blimey, what's she been purchasing again? But yeah, it's a I was going to say weekly occurrence. This week so far, I think I've had about 3 deliveries, so it's more than weekly. It's very, very regular occurrence, but like I say, we do love our crafty goodies. And there are our two gorgeous little characters. We're going to leave those to one side for just a moment, because what we'll do is we're going to stamp a few extra little elements while we've got our stamping platform out. So let's bring in our sentiment. I've cut just a little panel down here just to fit our sentiment onto. Nothing sort of precise in terms of measurements, just so that we can fit our lovely little sentiment onto our little banner here. And that's just our multi-purpose card. We're not going to be adding any colour to this, so your multi-purpose card is the one to go for. So let's just pop a couple of magnets onto our stamp there, just like so. Let's line that up, and then once we're happy that we've lined that up, the beauty of that is you've got your grid system on there as well. So for anything like sentiments where you need it to be nice and straight and even, you've got that ability to actually line it up and measure it using that fabulous grid system that you've got both on the lid and on the base of your stamping platform. So let's stamp out I'm Nuts About You. Thought that was a fabulous little sentiment, so why not use it for this project? Absolutely love that. How cute is that? And then we'll pop that onto a matten layer in just a moment. And then finally, while we've got our stamping platform out, we're going to stamp our little embellishment that will go on the lid. So of course, in true Lilly style, I save every single little scrap of cardstock, especially my Nina. So let's pop a couple of magnets onto my Nina. And Dean is saying in my ear, don't worry Dean, yes, I've already had that thought, but I will be demo of the day by default, because basically there's no competition, quite literally. So yeah, I have already had that thought. Oh, how exciting, I'll be demo of the day. Lily, you'll be demo of the day because there's no other demos being done today, so yeah, that'll be why. But anyway, let's go back to our stamping. We're stamping our couple of cute little acorns onto a bit of Nina. Oh, see, I missed a little bit there. Don't need to worry though, got our stamping platform. How easy was that? And it was the case that I had inked it up all perfectly, but I just not pressed hard enough on that one piece. So the beauty is, with that stamping platform, just go back in and stamp over the top. So that is our stamping all done, I do believe. So let's pop our stamps away. What we'll do is we'll just quickly mat and layer our sentiment together, and then we'll get into our colouring, which is going to be the super fun bit. You know, I love my colouring with the pens that I can't quite pronounce the name of, which is always interesting. Oof dear, tongue-tied earlier, that is for sure. Now, once again, true Lilly fashion, saving every single scrap. I mean, this All Hallows Eve paper is absolutely gorgeous. I'm not throwing a single scrap away, that is for sure. And what I find easier, when you've got a really tiny little sentiment like this, rather than trying to bring in your trimmer or your guillotine and trying to cut that mat and layer down to size, I find it a little bit easier to actually just mat and layer it first onto a slightly larger piece of cardstock, and then just bring in my scissors and literally just trim it by hand. But of course you could go in with your guillotine like you would for all of our other mats and layers and cut it down that way. But personally, I just find this is a lot quicker and easier. And you can see, looks straight enough to me. That'll do, that will do. Okie doke, let's go ahead and then let's bring in our pieces that we have already stamped and die cut. So what we're going to do now is going to start to trim these down. So I'm actually going to just reinforce those score lines a little bit more so we can see a little bit easier what we are doing here. So what we need to do is we need to trim along that bottom edge there to take away that top piece of cardstock, and then we need to trim our tab down as well. So let's start with this one. Going to go in with our scissors. You couldn't use your guillotine because I don't want to trim off, don't want to trim through our characters. You could, however, use your paper trim. If you've got one, you know, can do partial blades, you could use that, but I'll be honest, I find it a lot easier to use my scissors. So on that first section where we've got the tab, I'm going slightly at a slant, and then for the rest, I'm just joining where the die cut edge sort of stops. I'm just joining those edges together, not being dead precise or dead accurate. I'm just going ahead and cutting. You could of course use a measuring tool, a ruler I think they call that, Lily, not a blooming measuring tool. You could use a ruler, you could use a pencil, a craft knife if you want, and measure that up, completely up to you, whatever you find easiest, but I find this is nice and simple and easy to do. And then we're just going to do exactly the same on the other one. I'm going to try and make sure that we've got roughly the same sort of bar size at the bottom. Like I say, we're not going to stress about it, not going to worry about it too much at all. We can always just go back in and trim a few extra little slithers off if we so need to. So really is no right or wrong when it comes to this one. So that's our two pieces, pretty much all good to go, but it's time to add a little bit of colour because I think we need to really bring these to life. So as ever, whenever I'm working with any of my alcohol pens, always have a piece of cardstock. Doesn't have to be fancy cardstock, could just literally be an old document, an old letter, some junk mail underneath. Anything that's going to be porous, it's going to stop your ink actually sinking into your glass mat underneath and potentially pooling. So let's bring in some of our pens. Let's start off with our fabulous pale pink blend. I'm going to go ahead and colour in his little ears. All the ears that we've got here, we are going to be using our gorgeous little pale pink blend. Now I'm working with my brush pens. Of course, you can be using any pen you like. It doesn't have to be alcohol based. You could be using your water-based pens as well. It could be your aqua pens, it could be your pencils, but just do bear in mind whatever pen you're using, bear in mind what ink pad you need to use. So because these are alcohol based, we need to go ahead and use our fabulous alcohol proof ink pad. But if we were working with something that was water-based, we would of course need to use our waterproof ink pad. But both options you will find over on the Crafters Companion website. I know we do lots and lots of ink pads within that Spectrum Noir range, so do just check that one out. So that's all the little ears coloured in, all good to go. Let's bring in our brown grey blend. Ooh, another tricky one to say. And let's colour in all the squirrels' little noses using our brown grey blend. So he's got a cute little brown browny grey sort of nose. Let's just add a little bit of the darker. These are so easy to colour as well when you've got your tri-blends, really quick and easy. They're not massive images, they're not really overwhelming images, they're just nice and easy to actually put together. So let's go ahead and do our squirrels first, I think, and we'll go with our gold brown blend and extend for our cute little squirrels. So let's start off with one at a time. I always say it's a lot easier to colour in small sections rather than in large areas. It can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming, especially if you're new to colouring. So let's just start off with that one squirrel at a time. So we're going in first with the blend, and we're going in with the lightest colour tone within that 3-pen blend. And we're just going to start to lay down that colour onto those lightest areas of our gorgeous little squirrel. Oh, Brenda's loving the animals as much as I am. They are super cute, aren't they? Brenda's saying they're super cute little animals. I have to say they're adorable. And I must say, when I was planning this project and I knew I had my craft along on these gorgeous little animal stamps and dies, I got the whole collection out, laid it out in front of me, was looking through the animals. I was thinking, my goodness, how do I decide on which characters to go with? Because every single set is just absolutely adorable. But the beauty is, of course, if you're going for that main collection, you can recreate this project using any of the sets in the collection. It doesn't have to be this one. I just thought it would be perfect for this time of year. We're starting to think about autumn. I must say it's starting to get dark early, isn't it? It does feel like autumn's on its way. It's getting a little bit worrying. I mean, I know we've had the most beautiful weather here in the UK over the past few days, which has been lovely, but the nights are definitely drawing in. Mornings seem to be a lot darker as well. So yeah, it does start to feel a little bit autumnal here. And these are going to be perfect designs for this sort of time of year. I know a lot of people do love the autumn, but I do love the summer, love the warm weather. You cannot beat a little bit of sunshine, that is for sure. But how cute are these? Just absolutely adorable. We're just going in, working up the colour tones. So starting off with that palest, and then we're just building up the colour. So to start to add in that light and shade. I'm not being super particular. These are very easy to work with, like I say. With them being quite small images, they don't take long to colour, but they're not too fussy and fiddly that you're sort of struggling to get into the detail. So I think these are fabulous to colour. I mean, perhaps you're going to be actually stamping these out and then just giving them to the kiddies so they can colour them in themselves. I think they would absolutely love that. Maybe you're even going to be making up stories about them. Perhaps you're going to be having all the characters getting into all sorts of different scrapes and start to give them their own personality. You're going to be almost like writing a story. How fun would that be? But as well, mix and match the different sets together from across the whole range. It doesn't just have to be a case of like we're doing here, and you have to just use one set on its own. You can of course be using all the different characters together. It doesn't have to be realistic. I mean, they might not technically live in the same habitat, but they can all be friends. They can all play nicely. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. All our cute little animals getting on nicely. So don't worry about it having to sort of follow nature if you don't want it to. That's the beauty though of getting the main collection. You've got everything to play with, which we absolutely love. So first squirrel done, nice and easy. We've not done his little acorn just yet. We'll do that a little bit later when we colour in our other acorns that we're going to use as an embellishment. But we're going to go ahead now and go on to our second little squirrel. Same colours, we're going to do them almost like matching squirrels. I'm thinking they could be relatives, these two little squirrels, maybe brother and sister if you want them to be. So we're going to keep that colour continuity by using the same colourways that we're using, which is our gold brown blend and extend for these. And you can see it's so quick and easy to lay down that colour when you've got that brush nib. It does make it absolutely effortless even, and it kind of almost like blends on its own because it lays down so smooth. So smooth, it's almost like silk. It's absolutely gorgeous. It just allows you to get that blend so super easy, which is fantastic. Then let's move up our colours as always. I always tend to work from light to dark when I'm using my alcohol pens. Of course, I know lots of different people work in different ways, which is absolutely fine. But of course, you can be working in different ways, whatever works best for you. But I do find it's easier to get that smooth blend by working with that lightest colour tone first, and then just building up those colour tones to get your darkest at the very end. So let's just go in and start to really build up this image. Working on Nina cardstock as well will give you that smoothest lay down of colour. I definitely recommend that for your alcohol pen colouring. It doesn't just have to be with your tri-blends, it could be with any of your alcohol-based mediums. I'd always say your Nina is the one absolutely to go for if you want to get those optimum finished results. Right. Oh, Carol, that is absolutely lovely. Our lovely Carol's commenting saying, my colouring is beautiful, saying the little squirrels and deer are so cute. Well, Carol, when you've got the right materials, when you've got the most adorable, gorgeous stamps, it just makes it super, super easy. But I'm pleased you are loving it. But get yourself some of these fabulous pencils and you will enjoy it for sure. I absolutely love all of my Spectrum Noir range, love all of it, love my tri-blends, love my illustrators, love them all. But yeah, it's so much fun to get colouring. When you've got stamps that are this cute, it is just an absolute joy. It really, really is. Let's go ahead now. Oh, Wendy Woodhouse, thank you so much, sweetheart. She's saying my colouring is amazing. Well, that is very, very kind. I have to say, I do a lot of colouring. I've had a lot of practice, but only because I absolutely love doing it, and that is the beauty. When you do love doing something, you know, it's not a chore. We say practicing like it's something that's a chore, but absolutely not. I just love my colouring. And when you've got the right equipment, it makes it so much easier. Let's colour in our acorns now. So we're going in with our fabulous tan blend and extend. Just building up those colour tones as usual, starting with our lightest, going down to our darkest to get those shadows into there. Nice and easy to start to really bring these to life. Just sort of following those lines within the stamped image, nice and easy. And we'll do exactly the same with our gorgeous little squirrel who's very proudly holding that acorn. I say holding it, I feel like if somebody came close to him, it'd be like, no, hands off my acorn. He seems to be very protective of that acorn. So yeah, we'll make sure he's holding it nice and tight. You don't want anybody pinching his acorn, that is for sure. Let's go in then and then just add those darkest tones to add that shade, add that depth and dimension, just like so. Right, time for our deers, I think. So let's bring in our TN1 from our tan blend and let's start to just lay down the colour. So we'll have a paler part onto there, and then we'll have some areas a little bit darker. But of course you can be choosing and mixing up your colourways however you choose to. You don't have to be going with the pen colours that I've used, of course. They are just a suggestion, but how you sort of choose to work yours is completely down to you, and that's the beauty. I always say the beauty of crafting. You've got that choice to really make things your own, and please do, if you have followed along with this craft along, maybe saving it for a later date, perhaps you're going to recreate it at some point in the future. Please do share pictures because we absolutely love seeing all of your finished projects, especially when you put a little bit of a spin on them. I think that's always fantastic to see all of your different takes on our craft along. So do make sure you're posting that. Tag me, Lilly Fletcher, Crafter's Companion, because I absolutely love seeing what you guys at home are doing. I always think it's super, super exciting. So then just going in and starting to build up those colour tones to colour in our gorgeous little deer. He's just so, so sweet. The way he's sort of cocking his little leg up a little bit, I think that's just absolutely adorable. His little expression there, just so, so cute. I mean, of course, these are matching stamp and die sets, which is brilliant because it means you don't have to fussy cut. If you're not a fan of that technique, you've got the dies that allow you that ability to do it nice and quickly and easily without the need for fussy cutting. But of course the beauty of these is you don't always have to use those matching dies if you don't want to. You can just use the stamps on their own. You could be doing all your masking techniques. You could be bringing out your perhaps your masking sheets and starting to actually build compositions of these. Perhaps you're going to be masking them so you've got a whole herd of deer. Perhaps you're going to have a couple of the squirrels sort of sat next to each other. Completely up to you, but don't just think because we've included dies that you have to use them every time. Absolutely not. You can be using them separately and you're still going to get equally but different fabulous results every single time. That's our first deer done. So that's our first panel all done and good to go. Let's bring in our final one, then let's just colour our gorgeous little deer on this one, and then that's our colouring all done. I cannot believe we have only got 15 minutes left on the show. It certainly has flown by. I do always say it's almost like walking into a time warp, isn't it, in this studio? The time just literally flies by. It's incredible. I always say it, you think an hour, oh, an hour's quite a long time. It might be in a sort of everyday life, but in this studio, oh my goodness me, time has got a different meaning, that is for sure. But I find that in general as well when I'm crafting, your time does just literally fly by. You can just get lost, especially if I'm colouring. Oh my goodness, I can look up and think, oh, you know, I've been colouring for maybe 10, 15 minutes and a few hours has gone by. But that's definitely a good thing in my opinion. So let's just go and carry on building up the colour tones. You will find our tri-blend brush pens over on the website. We do have lots of different options when it comes to the different ways you can purchase these, different numbers in all the sets. But if you want to go for some of our 3-pen sets, you will find those over on the shop today. We've popped the details on the bottom of the screen for you for the autumn hues. So if you want to go for those colour tones are going to be absolutely ideal for colouring in images like we've got here. You do have the details at the bottom of your screen. Just £8.99 for that pack of 3 or $13.45. And yes, we do say a pack of 3, but don't forget every single pen has got those 3 different colour tones in there. So rather than it being like a pack of 3, it's more, in reality, it's more like a pack of 9, which is absolutely brilliant. So there we go. Let's just bring in those darker colour tones to start to bring this to life a little bit more and add that shade into there. But like I say, I'm doing this quite quickly. When you're at home, you can take more time, that is for sure, and really start to build up those tones, build up that shading. But if you do want quite a quick project, then absolutely you're still going to get gorgeous finished results. So final little touches here, and then that's going to be all of our colouring all done. So let's move our cardstock and our pens out the way. We're going to bring back in our little acorns here, and we're going to do a little bit of fussy cutting. So back to fussy cutting school. Are you ready, guys? So I always get so many questions. We do, all of us actually, to be fair, get a lot of questions here at Crafters TV about fussy cutting, about our top tips. Well, first and biggest top tip is practice. Practice, practice, practice. The more you fussy cut, the more confident you will become, the better your results will be. Secondly, take your time. Go slowly. You don't need to rush this. The more time you take, the more likely you are to get that neater finish. Also, scissors on an angle, not straight on. Angle them a little bit more and I find you get a smoother finish. And then finally, feed your paper through your scissors. Rather than turning your scissors, turn your paper and you'll get that smooth finish every single time. How nice and easy was that to just cut out our couple of little acorns there. So I think we'll do our lid first. Let's decorate our lid first. So let's pop a couple of foam pads on the back of our sentiment. Oh, I've had a lovely comment saying, who has this come from, please, Dean? Sorry. Oh, Evelyn, oh, lovely to have your company. She's saying, oh, I'm doing a lovely job. Oh, thank you so much. She's got some of these stamps and dies, she thinks, but she's only used them once. Well, hopefully, I'm hoping you'll follow along this craft along and it will inspire you to actually get those stamps and dies back out and get creating, because aren't they just absolutely adorable? I love these. I think they're so, so cute. But yeah, for a new baby card, they'd be absolutely ideal. Lots of different uses with these. Oh, Beth, that's a lovely idea. She thinks they'd be really cute sitting in the corner of an envelope or a letter. Oh, love that idea. Yeah, decorate your envelope to match. If you're making a card, decorate that envelope to match. Maybe even one sat on the envelope flap. How cute would that be? Yeah, lots of options with these, but think scrapbook pages, new baby scrapbook pages. That would be super, super cute. I did toy with the idea actually when I was planning my project. I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do, but I did toy with the idea of doing a scrapbook page of my gorgeous little niece Lola May. But I thought I'll go with the box, but it will work for a range of occasions. So let's pop our little acorns onto there, just like so. And then let's just bring in some of our hot glue. We've got our little bow that we've tied from twine. I'm hoping, oh, do you know why this is not warm, Lily? I've not plugged it in. Don't worry, we'll do that one a little bit later. We can do the rest of our box first, and then we will pop our little twine bow on. Yeah, I was thinking this really doesn't feel very warm, probably because I've not actually even plugged it in, let alone turned it on. Oh well, we'll worry about that in just a moment. We'll leave our box lid to one side for a moment. We will be popping our lovely little bow on there in just a second. So that's going to go together just like so. But first up, let's bring back in our box sides. Now at this point, I'm actually going to build the box sides. I just found it easier when I was putting this project together at home. I found it easier to actually have the box built before you pop our little characters on there. Different because I usually say decorate it before you actually put it together, but mats and layers definitely, but for that part of the decoration, I'm going to do it once it's built because I just found it a little bit easier to actually get it all lined up. So 4 bits of red liner tape. Gosh, it feels like hours ago that we popped that red liner tape on, didn't it? Our red liner tape onto there, and then it's just a case of literally folding that score line up to that next edge and doing that on the 4 times that we've got that red liner tape. I do find your red liner tape is the best one for your construction. It holds sort of much longer over time. Something like your finger lift tape is not quite strong enough. Your tape pens will work perfectly as well, as does your tacky glue. The only thing with your tacky glue is that you will need to hold it in position. You will maybe need to get some pegs on there or something like that, but it will work an absolute treat as well. So all we're going to do is going to find those score lines that we put in onto there. We're going to start to actually reinforce those score lines, and we'll do exactly the same on our other couple of little characters. And then it's just going to be a case of literally sticking these to the boxes. Now, what you might have noticed is when we did our measurements, that section of our actual strip was about an eighth of an inch larger than our actual box base itself, just to make sure we'd got a little bit of room so we could actually wrap this around the edges of the box just like so. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Let's bring in some of our foam pads to actually stick this onto the box sides just for a little bit of dimension. So we'll pop one onto our gorgeous little squirrel, and then we'll chop that one down in half, and you will find at the bottom of your screen you've got the details for that small foam pad kit. You're getting a whopping 20 sheets. I mean, I wouldn't like to count how many foam pads you're getting in total. It is literally hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds. And when we say 20 sheets, we're talking about this size filled with foam. The brilliant thing is they are all mixed, so lots of different sizes and depths as well in that whole pack, which is absolutely brilliant. Great one to stock up your stash, or if you are new to crafting, a great way to build your stash of 3D adhesives as well. And that's just $16.99 or $19.99 for that full small 3D foam pad kit, which is brilliant. So let's just start to actually stick these onto our sides. We're just lining up that bottom edge of our stamped and die cut design with the bottom edge of our box like so. Once we're happy, let's just press that down even, and then we'll go on to the next one. And then what we need to do is going to need to attach these two together. So we're going to pop a little bit of tacky glue onto that tiny little tab there, just enough that it's going to be able to stick those two little bits together, just like so. So your tacky glue and your fine tip glue applicator is ideal for a tiny little area like we've got there. And then let's just peel our foam tabs off the back of there, and then we're just going to stick that together. So lining up the tab first, and then we'll line up our little deer with the base of our box, same technique as with the other two. And then because we've used tacky glue on that tab, we're just going to give it a minute to actually grab. Beauty of our tacky glue is you've got that ability to actually manoeuvre it into position for a couple of moments. So if you're not lined it up perfectly first time round, you've got that ability to actually just move it until you're happy with the positioning. And then just give it a moment to grab. Once it's grabbed, you know that it's going to set nice and firm, which we love. And then exactly the same on this next one, a little bit of glue onto that tab. We're going to line our little tab up underneath that strip that we've got on the next side, just leveling that up. Don't stick that one down just yet. Let's just line that so we've got that tab sitting underneath that little strip there. And then once we're happy that that's lined up, let's press our foam pad down into place, give our tacky glue just a moment or two to grab and hold onto that adjoining piece that we've got there. And that is our little characters stuck onto the sides of our box. And I mean, look how absolutely adorable they are. Completely up to you if you want none of that design cut off. If you want the design sort of complete there, then of course what you need to do when you are doing your die cutting, just move your die slightly further up that strip. Remember, we could die cut into that 2-inch wide strip. You can move your die that slightest bit further up, and that means you will get that complete image. But personally, I quite like that effect where it looks almost like they are sitting on the floor. It's sort of falling off the edge of the design. But if you don't like that, then you've got the option. Got a gorgeous little squirrel. Oh, we've got our other little deer, and then we've got our squirrel. Up to you what side is going to be the front, as to which one you're going to be actually sticking the lid onto. I think he's my favourite. I think he'll be the front of our box. So let's have a little look. I'm not sure if our hot glue gun will be heated up just yet. So I think what we'll do first is we shall pop our red liner tape onto our 4 tabs. Our lovely comment from Becky saying she's loving the craft along project so far. It's nearly there. We're nearly there. I can't believe we've got just over 5 minutes left, but it's been an absolute delight. So thank you so much for everybody who has kept me company for this hour. We've got a few of you crafting along with me, which I'm absolutely loving. You started a little bit late, but don't worry, you will catch up, of course. And please do share your makes with us over on our group. So our I'm a Crafter's Companion, our Club Inspired community. And make sure you tag me, Lilly Fletcher, Crafter's Companion. That's my page. Make sure you tag me in them because I love seeing what you created. Of course, no pressure at all to complete it within the show. If you want to create it at a later date, then that's absolutely fantastic too. You have got that ability to actually create it at your leisure, which is fantastic. And the brilliant thing about Crafters TV is that all these videos, they live forever. As if that didn't sound too spooky. But the brilliant thing is you can go back and watch them whenever you so choose. So maybe you've just thought, you know what, I'll just watch today. Maybe get a few purchases in while I'm at it. And maybe you're waiting for your dies and your stamps to come. And once they do arrive, go back in, check out the website, the Crafters Companion website. You can go into the Crafters TV archives and you can watch back this show for literally as many times as you like. You speed bits up, you can miss bits out, completely up to you. But you've got the ability to watch back as many times as you like. Right, let's have a little look, see if this is heated up to temperature just yet with our hot glue. Ah yeah, I do find it's perfect to use your hot glue with all of your embellishments. If ever I'm sticking down ribbons or bows or anything, any sort of 3D embellishment, whether it's going to be buttons as well or charms, I think your hot glue gun is the one to go for. Grabs really quickly, but you know, once it has grabbed, it's going to be grabbed there for a long time to come. It's super strong. That's our little bow onto there. And if you do get your little stringy bits of your glue, just sort of pick those off. You can just sort of tear those off nice and easily. Apart from the fact that I think that one's stuck into my red liner, that's typical. There we go. Just remove that from there. Some people say, you know, use a hot glue gun to melt it away, but I always find you can just nice and easily just pick that off like so. And then the same technique with our lid as we had with our base, just building our box lid by just sticking those tabs where we've got our red liner, sticking tab to side, and then that's going to build our lovely little box lid for our project. And then that will be our project all done. Wowza, I managed to get it in this time. I was a little bit worried. So you know what I'm like when I get colouring, I could be sat there for days, but we are all done and good to go. And the best part is the lid fits the base because the lid is 1/8 of an inch larger than the base. But don't worry, I've worked out all the measurements. And like I say, I will pop those over on my Lilly Fletcher's Crafters Companion Facebook page and Instagram a little bit later tonight. Oh, you guys, I hope you've enjoyed that craft along as much as I have. I have so enjoyed that. Absolutely loved hearing all of your comments as well. Oh, Mary Beth Dollar saying the characters are so adorable and I've given them personality. And that for me is what it's all about. You can make these your own. You can really give them a personality. Oh, Stephanie's saying adorable box. Thank you. I love the fact that it's so cute and small. Alison Lee as well is saying it's a cute little box. She's loving it. So many lovely comments. Thank you everybody that's joined me. I think it's such a cute little box. How amazing would it be to give a little gift? It could be a little gift, maybe perhaps it's going to be for new babies if you change up the sentiment. Maybe you're going to be adding a little dummy in there, pair of socks, a little bib, completely up to you. Absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? So cute. But when you get those fantastic animal stamps and dies home, it's just a slightly different way of using those. Love the fact that we've managed to use all 4 of the characters on that box. Just super cute. Bring in all the different pattern papers you've got in your crafty stash, or maybe you're even going to be bringing in some of the stamps that you've got in the set and starting to actually create your own backgrounds. How cool would that be? So if you don't have a lot of backing papers in your crafty stash, then absolutely what you can do is you can start to use some of those smaller icons that you've got in the set and actually building your own background. For that project though, of course, we did use our amazing animal edge stamp and die 5-piece collection, 52 stamps and 20 dies in total across those 5 sets. So you've got all those gorgeous little characters. Just one of the sets is that gorgeous Woodland Friends. You've got all those other sets included as well as part of that collection. You'll find that over on the shop today. The price on that one for all of that, 52 stamps and 20 dies, wowzer, just £27.20 or $35.20. And I hope I've shown quite how easy they are to work with when it comes to that matching stamp and die system. They are super, super simple. Well, that is the craft along all done. I'm so pleased that you could join me. Thank you so much for your company and thank you for those amazing comments as well. I have so enjoyed this show. It's been fantastic. Me personally, I'll be back up Sunday. I am so excited about Sunday. I've got an absolutely cracking day of shows lined up. I'll be on this side of the studio again. The fantastic Becky Swan is going to be over at that side of the studio. I love working with Becky. It's always super fun. I say that, but I love working with everybody here. We've got the most amazing team, but Sunday is going to be cracking because we've got a first look at Template Library. The yellow one, we've got a first look of that coming up at 11 AM UK time. 3 PM, we've got an amazing craft vault. And of course, we'll be rounding off the week in style with Second Chance Sunday. That's Sunday, but make sure you come back here in just an hour's time, 5 o'clock. Yep, we've got the VIP hour. Sarah and Ben are going to be back for the most amazing 3-hour extravaganza cartload. Oh my goodness, the deals are out of this world. And they might have been saving a few things that you didn't see on this morning's wake-up call as well. So make sure you're back here to join Sarah and Ben in an hour. It's been an absolute pleasure to have your company for this show, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.